Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. As you can see on my desk, I have a little bit of everything going on. I've been playing with papers, and I've noticed recently I've been building up slowly these little journals I've been creating out of old game cards. You may have seen it in a previous video. So they're all pretty much the same size, and I've been using these up and putting together some journals. So as you can see, they're not finished. None of my journals are actually finished. That's usually how I roll. I kind of make a bunch of preliminary type journals. And now I'm at the point where, okay, I've got signatures ready to go. I've built up the front, the back of the journal. Most of the insides as well are complete. Now I feel like I need to add some things. So I was playing with some of my finds from the thrift shop. So here's a little collection here. You'll have to forgive my mess because, like I said, I've just been pulling everything out and playing. So I have these game cards, sorry, what are they called? Just cards. Some sort of card. Game cards? Playing cards. And then I found a couple of these guys. You may have seen some of these in my previous videos. A couple of these. And I have this little stash over here on the side of my desk of what I accumulate over time. And then I try to use some up. So here's some things that I have accumulated. And now I want to make these fun inserts. So here are a couple that I've made. And this is just, you know, whatever the mood hits. Like the one we designed today might be completely different. I have no idea where it's going to take us. So this kind of goes through here. This goes on this side. Then there's a pocket in here. And I just cut, manipulate, and fill these little journal inserts. And then this one, I covered the back. So this one can just sit inside a journal with, say, a paper clip of some kind. And it can be removed. So that's one. And then I did this one, which opens. So here's a paper clip. I've shown a video on how I made those. And these are just things that open up, little watercolor paper there, and then a pocket on the top. So 2 cards put together. And then this back one I didn't finish because this I would just, when I'm ready to insert it, just glue it in the book. So I thought we could do some fun stuff like that today. I don't know where it's going to take us. Like I said, I just really enjoy using up this stuff in ways where I can build a cluster of inserts ready to go in a journal. Okay, let's start. So I'm going to clear some space here. I start with my big cards, and I start with those because I know they're the journals. They're going to fit in the journal. So I don't want to go any bigger than this unless I want a couple of things poking out. So that kind of gives me an idea of size and where to start. And then I'll grab maybe a folder or two and just kind of play with what I have. I'll maybe pull one of each out for now so I can visually see what to play with. And I'll just toss these aside for now. Or maybe we'll make 2 at the same time. I'm just going to clear some of these little doohickeys here. So let's make 2. And that way I have kind of like building them together. That's a cool card. All right. So let's see. Do I want to make a book that opens? Let's try it. So I'm going to find some scissors. So this is, as you well know, what I'm like. I move things around and then can't find anything. So it's kind of like a little craft along video today. You know, get your glues out and let's have some fun just building stuff. As you can see, I am not a perfectionist. I just like to wing it. I like kind of a handmade look. I do my best at trying to keep things neat and tidy, but it's not important to me. So if it's important to you and things that aren't straight bother you, take your time and straighten them out. But I've never been one. I think it's more about being impatient for me. I'm like, yeah, let's just do this. I'm not overly concerned about it being perfect. I wish I had a little bit of perfectionism in me, but I don't. So something like this, and maybe I'll rough it up. Can kind of hide that imperfect edge and make it part of the plan, so to speak. So I'm gonna rough that up, and then I'll ink it to rough it even more. I think I will round the edges. And I just sit here in my little studio area, my little crafty space, and try to come up with some fun ways of using up these materials that I've acquired. And these materials are all from the thrift shop. I rarely buy new papers. I like to think I'm doing the world a favor by recycling and reusing as much as possible. I do obviously have to buy new things like inks and tools, but the papers themselves, I think it's more challenging to use old ones and reinvent them. So, and I'm using that vintage photo on this one. So there we go. I've got a little side here. So now I can either glue it down and make it a pocket, or I can have it flip. So I think we're gonna have it flip. So let's cover the back. And I'm just grabbing random papers I have kicking around here. Here's some, what's it called? Scraps. So let's maybe do a little glue down. Just add some interest here, some textures. I've been out of the paper game for probably about 2 weeks now. I just have not been in the mood. Sometimes, you know, the mood for me for paper and creativity kind of comes and goes. I find I run out of inspiration at times. I can, oh, there's a cool piece. I can be in the mood to be creative for weeks on end. And then there are times where I just don't feel it. And lately I haven't felt it. I don't know if the mood shift with the weather or what, but I just haven't been much in the mood to play with paper. And then yesterday I sat down at my desk and I thought, okay, it's been a while. We should probably get back to it. We should just start gluing stuff down, and it doesn't have to be good, or you don't even have to keep it. Just glue it down and see where it takes you. And then it kind of fired me up again. I've kind of been in the mood to start playing with papers again, which is good, you know. You don't want to take too much of a break, but at the same time, it kind of rejuvenates your creative mojo when you leave it for a bit. Some pretty paper. Feels like rice paper, actually. So I'm just going to glue these down for now. Cover up the back of this. And then see what tape I have in front of me to make a hinge. I don't think I have any tape in front of me right now. So I might have to use paper for a hinge. Let's see what we got. And just a little bit on this guy right here. So if you find yourself kind of ebbing and flowing when it comes to being creative, don't be overly concerned. I think it's part of our brain just resetting. It's exhausting being creative all the time. You know, it takes a lot of energy to create. So it's okay if you take a break. That's what I tell myself. Take a break. All right, so I have that guy and I have this guy. Let's see here. I want to make a hinge. So what do I want to use? What do I want to use? So many scraps. These are so pretty. It's a nice piece. Something like that. Or maybe I want to use something like this. Yeah, kind of cool. All right, let's use this. These came in a pack from the thrift shop. They were like $2, and I have about 100 of them left. They're great. I'm just going to fold it as best I can. Again, not overly concerned about it being straight. Sometimes taking the perfectionism out gives you a little bit more of a creative leeway. You know, you don't have to worry about it being perfect, so that it's a little bit easier to craft, if that makes sense at all. So when I work on my paintings, I have that in my head of that level of perfectionism that I have to have, and it kind of interrupts the creative flow. At least I think it does. When I'm concerned about it being perfect or concerned about it being, you know, good, than if I just allow myself to be creative and have fun with it. Because I get a lot of comments on my channel here about people who struggle with it being perfect, or not knowing what route to take or where to go, and they get kind of kerfuffled. So my suggestion is just let it go. Try and let go of the perfectionism and just have fun being creative. And you know, you might love what you got at the end, and you might be thinking, okay, this is, I don't know what I was thinking on this, but if anything, you've learned something, right? You've learned to allow yourself to be creative, and you've learned what you do like and not like, and you've learned a little bit about yourself and your creative process. Oops, put a rip in that one. Need another piece. There we go. So I don't know why this video is all about me talking about being a perfectionist or not. It was just a craft along with me video. That was my intention. Sometimes I go off the rails. All right. So now maybe put this guy in here, or maybe we'll put him in here. So this is what I do. I just sit here and I just layer, and I have fun layering things and adding them in different ways. So maybe we'll do like a little insert here. We do something like that. So I don't have any plans. No big plans for this one. I like this glued down for a journal page, maybe. Which side do I like better? This one or this one? This one. So this is the kind of crafting I enjoy the most, where it's just me, my glue, my papers, my scissors, and no one else. And I'm just playing away. And it's challenging lately for me to be inspired. I've struggled a little bit being inspired. I don't know if it's the weather shift. We're moving into spring here in Ontario, so there's a lot of rain and cloud. So, you know, it's not very uplifting. I know it's the natural process of things to have rain and things like that this time of year, but it is, is it emotionally challenging, or, you know, your brain is just not stimulated. You need the sunshine, or you need a little something to stimulate your creative process. And I don't know, I'm just babbling, really. Just trying to, I just feel like I haven't had any motivation. That's the word, motivation. So I'm trying to get it back. So maybe something like this. could be fun. I kind of like the plain playing cards. Like I said, I really like this one. So maybe I'll do another pocket here too. Pocket after pocket after pocket. Because I really like this ace. That's really fun. Okay, so what I think I'll do is I'll chop this down just a wee bit. And then around the corners. I'm gonna see if I can get my circle punch to work. It hasn't, it needs to be sharpened. It doesn't cut through very neat, but we can also rough it up. Grunge it up a little. Do you find you guys are challenged by the seasons in being creative? Do you find your mood shifts when the season shifts? Do you find, you know, you're more crafty on a rainy day because you feel like you don't need to be outside? Let me know, because I'm quite curious. Okay, so now we're just going to hide the top of that pocket. So let's do, what else have we got? Let's put this one aside for a second. And let's go into this one. That's fun. That's pretty paper. Let's do it. We need a slice. Glue that down. Okay, let's cut it up. I just love going to the thrift shop and finding all these goodies. It's a hit and miss. I don't always find goodies. Sometimes there's nothing new and exciting, and other times you find what you want and lots of it, and you're like, oh my gosh, start the car. This is the best. And it's just a great thrift day. I love that. Those are the best days when you find all kinds of goodies. Look at that glue. Yummy. Yummy. Clean that up. There we go. All right. Maybe I'll put it on this side. Would make more sense. And then I know how high to glue it. Obviously, the more glue you're going to use, the smaller the pocket's going to get. So you could use double-sided tape if you wanted. Put my lid on, maybe that will help stop the glue from getting all gooey. And we'll glue this down. I love that glue, that 3-in-1 glue. It's gives you just enough time to manipulate it in place. There we go. Okay, I'll put that aside for a sec. Go back to what we had. So maybe we'll hinge this now. And I just keep playing and keep playing. I like to put plain papers down like something like this, where I can come back and throw in a sketch. I can use little clusters I've had made already just for some interest, where I don't have to worry about sewing anything. I could use this as the hinge, actually, just as an odd piece. So not everything's perfectly structured. Something like that. All right, let's do it. I'm going to hinge this to this, or maybe I'll use it here instead. This to this. Yeah, I like that better. And then I can put this on top. Okay, let's do it. Come on. So this is really kind of using up your scraps, using up a collection of goodies that you've had sitting around on your desk for a while. And you can mass make these into inserts for your, I'm gonna slide that down, inserts for your journals that you've created. So you can make a whack load of these and have them ready to go in your journals as well. It's nice to work with a consistent size journal. That way you can make all these inserts and use them when you need. But you can also make different sizes, of course. There's no rule. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so there's the hinge. So I have a hinge, and then I have a pocket, and maybe we'll hinge in here as well, just for some strength. Maybe use that really pretty paper. Let's do that. Use this glue for that. That's pretty paper too on the other side. I find that challenging when I buy new paper, which is very rare, because I never know which side I want to use because it's all so pretty. Okay, there we go. And we'll fold. Make sure we crease the paper. It has a little memory in it. Okay. And then we could even put this in here just for a pop of color. A little surprise. Put it over here. Just playing. I kind of like the cover there. I think I want to leave that. And then do something in here. What else did we get? I got another one of these. Another one of these. This I think will turn into the journal card for the big pocket. And I just like to leave them pretty blank for journal space. And I will ink it a bit. Kind of keep that all consistent. Sometimes I like to do edges on my inking on the inside of the card as well, because it kind of, to me, it looks like it's aged. So something has been sitting on there while the sun's been hitting it. So it has this other outline, just for an extra little bit of interest. I'm going to put that in there for now, so I can see it sitting up. And figure out what we want to do here. So this is a big pop of color, and the rest of it is pretty neutral. So sometimes I like to repeat the color in other ways. So I'm going to grab another one of these. Guys, figure out where I want to put it. I might want a little pop of color coming out the side here. Just a touch. So I might glue it in like that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it just on this side, on the two sides. And that way I'm going to try and use up this goo here. A little kind of insert area. So not a full pocket, but a little slide pocket. So I'm just going to close this again, just so I can have a little visual of that orange popping out, and then I'll just make sure it's straight. Let that sit for a minute. And then maybe introduce the color on the outside of the pocket as well. So I could slice this off and have this jet out. Or you can do something fun. I don't know if these scissors are good enough, but you can maybe cut something. Cut a floral or something organic, a circle. These scissors are terrible for this paper. Let me find another pair. Something a little stronger. That's better. Just cut some leaves out here. Okay, something like that. Maybe I'll just put them there. Or maybe I'll put them coming down the side here. Just for an added interest on the papers and textures. Clean up this edge just a wee bit. So when I design my journals and my inserts and everything, I try to make sure I make it as cohesive as possible. So if I introduce a texture or a color, I want to make sure I introduce that throughout the whole journal. You know, it doesn't have to be the focal point or anything, but it creates a nice balance throughout the journal when you're using the different elements over and over again. I think that's kind of fun. And then I feel like I need something down here now to offset the balance. So let's glue this guy down. We're going to roll with this. And I kind of liked it when it was jammed under this loose paper. So then it's not such a shock when you open up and you see this color. You've visually been introduced to it. And I am going to cut this little bit off. Okay. So let's put something down here. It could be something as simple as just a visual introduction again to that color. Doesn't have to be overly elaborate. Doesn't have to be a full cluster of anything. But I do feel like I want to add some sort of writing. I have these really cute little things that I've cut up. I think they were Tracy Fox digital download I did, and then I backed them all onto a piece of paper because my printer paper is really cheap and thin, and then I spent an rainy afternoon cutting them out. I've used them in a previous video, but they're so handy. I really like them. Just to add something as simple as that. Just going to darken that up and we'll glue it all down. So I've had a request for people to ask me, have asked me what my YouTuber go-tos are, like who I like to watch. So I'm going to try and put a list together coming up as we're crafting, and I'll talk about them and then I'll share the link. What's interesting about YouTube for me is it evolves. I'll be watching something and then I'll find somebody else and then I'll start watching them. And then also my subject matter jumps around, you know, as the seasons change. So now I start watching a lot of gardening YouTubers and knitting YouTubers because now they're shifting to summer projects, paper YouTubers. So when people ask me what my favorite YouTube channels are, it's not always paper. I watch a few. I have a few that I watch. But the rest, and I don't actually really watch anybody consistently when it comes to paper journaling and things like that. But there are sometimes something might catch my eye and I'll watch it. And I've subscribed to a few, so I'll be sure to include that on the next video that I do, or maybe a separate video, so you guys can see what I watch, and then maybe you guys can share what you watch with others as well, so we can kind of have this little community of shared creators. Or maybe you're a creator watching my channel, share your channel. I don't know if you can do that in the comments or not, if you can link it or not, but mention it. But go ahead. Go ahead and add your information as well. I just want to add a little something in here. So just to remind me, what I find too when I make clusters like this is I'll store them in a box. And then when I go out to pull them, I can't remember what's a pocket. Sometimes they're so well hidden that I forget where all the pockets are. I'm going to put a scrap piece of watercolor there because anybody who knows me or watches my channel knows I love a blank sheet. So if I've got the book with journal with me, I can just go ahead and draw in it or paint in it, whatever the mood hits. So lately I've been walking around, walking the puppy in the forest now because we've got, the trails are dry enough to go in it. I mean, they're still soaking wet, don't get me wrong, but they are dry enough that we can get in there now. And I'm picking up all these leaves and decayed things from the winter and putting them in my journal and pressing them, kind of thing, to add to my journal again. So I'll maybe do a video on that. Okay, I think I'm going to round this corner as well. Hey, it's too slow. See, impatient. I should have named this channel The Impatient Crafter. Okay, so now I have my little booklet. This guy really insisting on popping up on me. I can give him a serious dose of glue. And then we have this guy that we did, so maybe I'll tie these in. Just gonna let that glue dry actually before I stick it to this paper. What can we use? Maybe we'll just sew it. Yes, I actually said sew it. Okay, let me grab my thread and needles. Okay, so I can't find my thread and needles. No shocker there. So I found some twine. It's pretty thick actually, but I think it will do. So I'm going to just sew them through here. So make sure they're laying flat. And I'm just gonna do a 2-hole thing, nothing too elaborate. Make sure it pops through the other side here. Just using a pen. And then I'll probably use the pen just to jam this through a bit. It's fun to use kind of random materials too. If you can make them work, why not? Just try and grab it from the other side. Small hole. There we go. So I pulled that through. And then we'll do the same on this one. A needle and thread, I would highly recommend it. But when you can't find things, necessity, what is that saying? Necessity is the mother of invention. I'm just going to pop it through here. And pull it through. There we go. Chop. Okay. Spin it around the right way. And then let's make sure we're good. Kind of fun. So do I want that bulk? Or do I want to just tape it down? I'm just going to knot it here. And then we'll just cut it short. Kind of fun. All right, so am I happy with that? So far, got some, we're gonna need to do something here. We need to jazz these guys up a little bit. And then we can do something here as well. Just kind of push that rope down. I want to leave the ace because that's really fun, but I think we could do something here. All right, let's start back to this one. We're happy with these, I think. Kind of like the blank cover there, but maybe we'll do something. And I just keep going. All right, so this guy, we could put out a sketch or something too. Let's have a look through, see if we have anything we can use here. And I'm a goodie stash. So here's a sketch. It's kind of fun. Here's a sewn on texture thing. Texture thing. Such a professional. I think I'm just going to add the sketch. I kind of like the simplicity of it. So we'll make it a little bit more cohesive with the rest by adding the same colored ink. Just tone down the white a little bit. So we can make this flip as well and do a journal card. I think I'm just going to center it. I like it centered. And then as you're building these, you're going to kind of try different things as you go. You're going to be kind of evolving your skills by introducing new ideas and new elements into your journaling. You know, like maybe you didn't think of a flip before. Maybe you always do pockets. Or maybe you can do it like a flip down, a flip up, a flip out. There's so many possibilities. It's really quite fun to just let yourself evolve and try it. Maybe we'll use one of these guys I got sitting next to me here. I'll just add, what do I want to do? Maybe just add some texture down the side here. I don't know what I'm doing, so that's the fun of crafting. Just let it take you in a direction. That was way off center. That's okay. So now I'm going to, I think I had to use the big one. Oops. Try that again. Okay, let's throw these guys in here. I got these at the thrift shop. They were 50 cents. I was so excited. The smallest things make me so happy these days. And then I just threw them in my container. They were in the little craft section. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get those. I was gonna use all the colors that came with it. Let's use some copper. So much fun. And silver, I'm missing silver. Okay, so put that in there. I think we'll add some of this, like a shoelace or something, just to introduce that element one more time. You could hang a bead off these, a charm you might have kicking around. I don't think I have anything on my desk like that. Do I? No. Nope, I don't. Oops. It's kind of cute. So maybe I'll just cut it short here and add a dab of glue to hold it in place. My ooey glue. You can always cover that with a piece of paper too if you don't like the look of it. And then this one, what do I want to do? Definitely tie it on itself so it doesn't unravel. Let's see if I can get it back through one more time. I think I might just glue it like that and then cut the excess off. So like I said, I never know where my crafting is going to take me. Just have fun with it. I'll let that glue dry for a second. Okay, so that's going to go in there. Maybe you can jazz this guy up a little by giving him a tab. Let's give him an orange tab. I have the scrap kicking around. I don't have one of those tab cutters. Wish I did, because they're fancy. Do I want to fold it? Maybe I will. Oh, this paper doesn't like being folded much. That's okay. That's okay. We'll make it look rough. We'll make it look intentional. Well, that's just ugly. Okay, let's not do that. See what I mean? Some things just come together and others are like, I need some more work. Okay, that's better. Not great, but better. That's where those tab cutters come in handy. It looks a lot more professional. But, you know, sometimes you can't afford those fancy tools. So you're going to make do. You could find a tab and trace it and cut it, of course. But I'm content this way. Put it here. And I wonder if I have my stapler handy. So it'd be kind of nice to have some metal up there. I have staples, but my stapler's MIA. No surprise. So we're going to glue it. I'll find it in 2 minutes. I know I will. Ink the back too. Sometimes we forget to do that. Again, something fun where the ink is not reached the whole card. So it just gives that little bit extra vintage vibe to me where, like I said, things have changed color, but light has not penetrated through completely and has left another mark, which I really like the look of. Okay, so simple as that. Little journaling card here. And if you don't like that, you could sew across it. You could glue something over it. Another little card with some texture on the side. Super simplified. So we're getting pretty wide. So make sure that will fit in my journal. And then what else did we want to do? I really like this black and white paper. I think it'd be nice to introduce it on this page. Do I have any left? A tiny little bit. I think I used most of it, didn't I? Well, even this just little smidge here might be enough. Oh, nope, I have a little bit left in the tray. This piece. I have this piece. That's fun, just like that. Like that, so I'm going to use that. Again, reintroducing those elements over and over again. Even just a smidge along the side's kind of nice. And at the top. I really like just the simplicity of that front, so I don't want to use it there. put it here. So I have the layer of orange, a tiny layer of the black poking through. Just makes it feel a little bit more layered. Let's try it. Let's try it. Play with that a little bit. Just want to make sure I don't cover up this orange because I like that poking through there. And then of course we can round the edge. There we go. Cute. I like it. Okay, and then maybe we will draw something in here while we have it. See if I have a black pen. I think I only have blue. Is this black? Oh, that's red. Do I have any black pen? There we go. So what do we want to draw here? Let's get some visual inspiration here. So that's kind of pretty. Let's use that. So I'm just going to sketch it out. Of course, you can do this before you glue it in case you don't love your sketch. But sometimes it's fun just to go for it. And if worse comes to worse, you really hate it, you glue something over top. Very light and airy here. Very loose, simplified approach. Just remember to breathe and just have fun. When I teach people to paint and draw, my favorite thing is when they first start, I look up after I've given them some instruction and they're all concentrating so hard their tongues are sticking out. It's so funny. I'm like, don't forget to breathe, everyone. You're supposed to be having fun here. We put so much pressure on ourselves to try and make things perfect and great that we don't allow ourselves always to enjoy the process. All right. There we go. Something that simple. I like it. I'm going to do something fun like sew it in. And just keep going and going as you're creating these little inserts, layers and layers of fun visual interests. And remember to repeat things. You'll find that it will help make your journal cohesive. So even those sewing lines have now introduced another element, another texture that you can put throughout the journal and make it all as if it was all made at once. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that in there. Tie that visually together. There we go. So that was kind of fun. I like that. I got room to do a watercolor painting here if I want, or just journaling. Put something down this here. What have we got left? Maybe, do we have any of that orange card left? Something, oops. Even just a little something right here. I think I did ink that one. Just something that simple right there. I like it. And what's really fun about watching people journal like this is you can give them the exact same supplies and they'll come up with something completely different. It's fascinating how our brains work. We're truly individuals. Okay, there we go. So there's an insert I can add to my journal. I'm going to take these ones out and I'm going to add it to something like this one. This is not tied in yet. So here's one I've done a fold out, and then I've finished decorating the inside. I haven't tied in any of my signatures yet. Not 100% sure what I want to do with that, but maybe this will go in here like this, or maybe it will just get glued to a page. So it didn't finish the back because I probably intend to glue it down. So that's what makes these things fun. You just let yourself use up your imagination. This was a piece of vellum, and I did a sketch and then just sewed it down to a white piece of paper. So it's kind of got that a little bit of a luminous transparency to it. Again, another texture. Where's my last one? Here it is. And then this one, which is super simple. And it gives you some fun journaling spaces. I did a pocket. I took one of those really long ones, the punching cards. One of these guys. Oh, here's another one. I folded it up. In this case, I just used some washi tape to hold the sides down. And now I have a pocket, so you can see inside how it's just folded. And this one I did the same. I glued down the sides, and then I did a sketch. And then you can mass make a bunch of these too. Super fun. And then introduce them into your journals. So I hope that gives you some ideas and some inspiration today. Hope you join me again very soon. Again, I'm hoping to get back into the creative mojo and start filming again. I miss you guys, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. All right, everyone. Take care. Thanks. Bye.